Welcome back to a Celtic State of Mind. I'm Paul John Dykes, and I'm delighted this afternoon to be joined by Anthony Maguire. It's evening time over in Perth, Australia. Anthony, we spoke long and hard before the game about some of the players that were coming back into the side, how we were going to line up, and how this was going to go. It's half time, we're 1-0 up. How are you feeling about that first half?
Well, it was a bit of brilliance, really, Paul John, that gets us the lead. It's probably been the only real bit of quality in that first half. It's been frantic. It's a bit like a Glasgow derby, shall we say, like just the frenetic nature at which the game is being played. I can't recall Celtic turning over the ball in midfield as much as we have in that first half in quite a while. Normally it's that final pass in the final third which lets us down, but today it's our midfield passing which has been slack. But you can't take away from that Benji Negron free kick. That was incredible. And according to Ian Crocker, the first time we've scored a goal like that in the league since 2021. That was the last time we tumbled from a direct effort. So it's been a while. But no, fantastic. Be able to dip it and beat Craig Gordon, who you have to say has been probably in the form of his career, obviously hoping to get to the World Cup representing Scotland. So, it took a good effort to beat him, and it was. But I'll just get back to my first point. That was probably the one real bit of quality we've seen from either team in that first half.
Without a doubt, I brought up a couple of the points there around the slack passing, the composure. Let us know what you think in the comments section. How are we able to settle down and just take control of that situation? Is it the midfield? Is that where we're kind of losing a wee bit of that composure and control of the game? I'm going to start with the midfield, Anthony, because before the game, we were talking about Rio Otati's performance. He's sending off on Thursday night against Bologna, and the fact that he was unceremoniously dropped, I think, today for Negron. Negron, top goal scorer, gets the assists. There's a few things about the player that I really, really like. And I think earlier on in the season, when we were looking at this clutch of players that came in the summer, he was the one that was standing out. 1.7 million, gets in amongst the goals. Bit inconsistent, can be a bit soft and weak in the tackle. Unfortunately, lacks a little bit of pace. But I tell you what, he does have technique and he's got quality. He wins the free kick. He scores the free kick. And, you're looking at it at half-time saying, well, he's got a few important goals for us this season. That's another one.
Well, it's a difference. I mean, ultimately, goals win matches. And you need players in your team who are capable of producing those moments. And he has, on numerous occasions this season, he's an enigma. Like, you watch him and you go, he just doesn't do much. You have to say maybe a wee bit like Kyogo, because, he could go 60, 70 minutes without even touching the ball, and all of a sudden he pops up, throws a goal, and you think, oh, Kyogo, he's done it again. Negron's not a centre forward, but he just has that knack. And you're right, he wins the free kick. He's got the swagger, the confidence, whatever you want to call it, to actually hit the thing. It was a wonderful strike. I guess I should caveat the other bit of brilliance we probably had in that first half was Kasper Schmeichel's save.
Oh yeah.
To basically bail Austin Trusty out. And I think Trusty's been having a good game. I think defensively has been solid, but my goodness, that touch he had, a bit reminiscent of something that I would do in a football park. Totally sort of gets all muddled up, and Kizarides, he probably should do better, and that's really been their one clear-cut chance in that half, and Schmeichel gets the big size 14 left boot on it, and thankfully deflects it wide and saves Austin's blushes. But a good save, big moment, and Schmeichel was there, but Kizarides has probably been their main danger down their left-hand side. I think Araujo's been doing relatively well, but I kind of feel that he seems to be the one that is their main creative sort of focal point. So if we can sort of keep him controlled, from that point of view, we should be okay at the back. But we just somebody just has to take charge in that midfield. And that's what you were alluding to before, is it Engels, is it Cal McGregor? But both have been culpable of giving the ball away and trying to play that pass too soon. Sorry, I knew I was going to mess his name at some point. Big Tam, Chivinchara, not really that sort of focal target man. Obviously, Martin Neal said that during the week. His link-up play hasn't been great so far. It's been pretty frantic, but he just needs to really get the foot in the ball. If he gets foul from behind, so be it. But he just really needs to just get his foot on it. Playing Maeda, playing Yang. I think Maeda's probably suffering from the epic shift he put in during the week. He's been a wee bit off it. But, we're 1-0 up. We got a chance to regroup here. We weathered the storm because there was probably at 10, 15 minutes there where Hearts were kind of all over us. Apart from that chance that we basically coughed up, they didn't really have too many other clear-cut chances despite the pressure. We just have to, just regroup. And like I said, if we can just get our midfield at the foot in the ball and just look up, I think that they're there to be had. I mean, I sat and watched the Hibs game a few weeks ago. Hibs tore Hearts apart. It was 3-2 in the end, but they were 3-0 up. Absolutely ragdolled that Hearts defence. I just think they're there for the taking if we can just show some of the quality that we're capable of. But at the moment, that first half, it just unfortunately wasn't there.
This is the thing. You look at the first half and we're 1-0 up and we've not played all that well. We've not been great. And like you say, in the second half, if we just play to the potential that we know we can. I mean, Thursday night, there was elements of that performance in the first half hour before Rio gets sent off, and you're thinking, we're controlling the game. I think the problem we've got here is that we've not really controlled the game. There was that 10, 15-minute spell. We weathered it. We defended well. I think trusty and skills, I'll come back to trusty in a moment, because I'm not letting one mistake, I think a lot of the time, especially with the recency bias, one mistake can then make you think he's had a bad game. He's not had a bad game. He's absolutely not had a bad game, and I don't think it's going to cloud my view and my judgment on his overall performance in the first half. The defence has done really well. I mean, Kasper Schmeichel, another guy we spoke about before the game, right, in relation to where we were as a fan base, really, with Kasper. And, when things weren't going well, he was getting it in spades. He was getting a lot of the negativity and a lot of the criticism. He wasn't playing particularly well, but he was exposed. See, at that moment when Trusty makes the wrong decision, he misjudges the bounce, he probably goes towards the ball with the wrong boot, if you like. His body shape's all wrong, he's off balance. You're thinking to yourself, it's one each, and we're having a completely different discussion here. Somehow he manages to save that. So listen, if we're going to criticise Kasper, we're going to give him a bit of kudos when he puts in a performance like that. There was some brilliant saves the other night as well, and I think as well as his ability in terms of his leadership qualities, I think they're massive in a game like this, because he stands up after making that save. He's not like one of these goalies that's screaming and shouting and celebrating like he scored a goal. Cool as a cucumber, Anthony. So I think that save, we're going to look back on moments like that at the end of this season if we are able to salvage it.
No, absolutely. I mean, you need leaders on the park. So, I mean, for me, you've got Schmeichel, you've got Kieran Tierney, you've got Callum McGregor. I'd say probably Stales and Austin Trusty are starting to become part of that leadership group as well, that they've formed a solid partnership there as well. And that gives you that structure and that leadership throughout the team. But like I said, fantastic save. You need to make saves at crucial times when you're nil up, like it's nil all, or you're 1-0 up. They're the key moments, because they keep you in games and give you an opportunity to then potentially to get a result. It's just, I mean, I think there's also a call for a booking for the free kick that leads to the goal. I think that should be a yellow card. I kind of feel that McLean, it's the first 5 minutes, I can't give it a yellow card. But pulling a shirt, that's for me, it doesn't matter whether it's the first 5 minutes or the last 5 minutes of a game. That for me is a booking. So, Hearts get away with one there to a degree. And then Derek McInnes is remonstrating on the bench. I don't know what about, but like he's constantly in the ear of the fourth official. So that tells me he's a bit rattled. So that's, that's a sign that we're potentially sort of getting on their case a little bit. But for me, like I said, if we can just regroup here, the second half, come out and just play a little bit of positive manner and just look up, just find a pass. And I just feel that if we can get Chivinchara into the game, I just feel at the moment we're not playing to his strengths. Like he's meant to be on the shoulder, fast, mobile centre forward. We're not really playing to his game at the moment. Playing him like a target man. He's allegedly not a target man. Nothing I've seen this first suggests that to me that he's much of a target man. So we kind of just need to play him in a bit more along the lines of his strengths. And the issue we've got is that we don't really have a replacement for him off the bench. So really our only option there is to put Maeda through the middle. Maeda's not having the best of games. I think he's a bit jaded from the other night. So we're going to have to persevere there. We're going to have to find a way to make that work. But like I said, it's not all bad. We're 1-0 up. Like I said, there's been, like I said, that moment of quality to get that goal. We just, like I said, we just have to play a little better within ourselves. And, you know, I think in commentary it was mentioned that the Hearts players are sitting off Austin Trusty. And it was one of his long passes that nearly caught Hearts out. And it was actually a really good defensive effort by their right back, the sort of Swedish sounding name, I can't remember his name, but he sort of headed it wide for a corner. But Maeda and somebody else Tierney were bearing down on him. So, you know, if we can utilize the tactics that Hearts are employing against us to our advantage, like there are opportunities there. They are there to be had. But like I said, it just requires us as a team to play better than like what we're currently doing.
Yeah, without a doubt. There was a moment coming out of that 10, 15-minute storm, if you like, where we were under pressure. And it was a simple thing. And McGregor's done it so many times, where he just plays the ball over the top. And that ball over the top, if Maeda gets on the end of that, we've seen what can happen there. We've seen both sides of what can happen there with Maeda. But I do want to talk about our new signing for a bit here, Chavan Chara, because I was listening to Martin O'Neill's comments with interest, as we all do. You know, trying to find out really and establish what type of a player is this? How's he going to be utilised and thrown right in there? Would he have been thrown right in if we had another fit striker? Maybe not. He might have been on the bench. But I'll tell you something. There's been a few moments I think where he probably could have held it up better. I'm not going to be overcritical. He's just in the door. You know, we announced him on Thursday as the team is heading off to Bologna to play that game in the Europa League. Just in the door. Few training sessions, and I'm thinking to myself, there was one or two moments where he probably could have done better in possession, but it's going to be becoming something of a culture shock to him as well. There's your game. O'Neill said this other day, other than Ibrox, Tynecastle is the atmosphere. That's the one where they're right over the top of you. It's electric. Obviously, some of the chanting's no great, but he's been thrown right in at the deep end, and I think he's done pretty well. He's done fine. He for me, there was one or two moments where I think that, again, it's about confidence, like you're saying, put your head up and see where Maeda is rather than just try to flick it over to him. But, you know, I've got absolutely no doubt he's going to get a chance because he's not had that, and that's what he's striving for.
He's not the only one guilty of it. Like, Maeda's been guilty of giving the ball away. Kieran Tierney, Cal McGregor, Arnie Engels, they've all done it. Like, it's not just him. Like, as a collective whole, the team's been giving the ball away a lot more than usual. Our pass rates, low 70s, which for Celtic is low. It's about 50-50 in the possession stakes at the moment as well. So again, low for our standards. It's early days. And I'll be honest, I could sit and listen to Martin and he'll read the phone book. His press conferences. He has a charm that few men in this world probably have. Like he knows how to manipulate and get his point across, and he's very, very clever at it. And one of the things that I really liked is he tried to take as much pressure off Big Tam as he could. He said, look, he's not the answer. He's part of the puzzle. He's coming in. Yes, we need him. We probably need him to start, but like, I'm not expecting miracles. He'll do his thing. He's not Chris Sutton. He's done everything he can to take the pressure off the lads. So it's up to him. But like I said, I'm definitely not being critical of just him. As a collective whole, we have been poor in possession, which is unusual. It's unlike us. It is unusual. Usually we can get to that final third and then the decision making can be a bit poor or we take the wrong option. But like I said, it's just the nature of the game. Like it's just been played at 100 miles an hour. And like I said, take a minute, take a breath. Look up and remember that we can actually play football. And like I said, I've just got no doubt if we actually just have a couple of moments of quality, we'll add a couple of goals to this game and we can see this one out. I'm really confident in that.
I hope you're right, mate. And that's the second half just kicked off. So go and enjoy the action. And Anthony and I will be here at full time. Join us then on A Celtic State of Mind.